Good evening, voters. 48 hours. That's all the time it took for our Netas to start politicizing the airstrikes. It's extremely unfortunate that this is what we're debating today. That our leaders and our Netas are so wound up with the upcoming elections that they are literally willing to say and politicize anything as long as it gives them electoral gains. And it's not just one or two stray comments that we're talking about. Every single day, the war of words over the airstrikes is only getting worse. While some comments are appallingly brazen, others pretend to be against this political slugfest, which only makes things worse. Take a look first at the kind of comments that have been made.
It didn't take our Netas more than 48 hours to politicize the airstrike. First off the block was BJP's Karnataka chief, B.S. Yediyurappa.
ಇದು ಇಡೀ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲೇನೆ ಮೋದಿಯವರ ಪರವಾದ ಅಲೆ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇಡೀ ದೇಶದ ಜನ ಇದನ್ನು ಸ್ವಾಗತ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸರ್ವ ಪಕ್ಷಗಳು ಸ್ವಾಗತ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಯುವಕರು ಕುಣಿದು ಸಂಭ್ರಮಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದೆಲ್ಲದರ ಪರಿಣಾಮ ನಾಳೆ 22ಕ್ಕೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಲೋಕಸಭಾ ಸೀಟ್ ಗೆಲ್ಲೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
Karnataka Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy wasted no time in pulling up the BJP chief.
How they misused the work done by our IAF pilots. In that issue, I actually reacted that BJP friends, they must understand to maintain peace inside the country.
But with every given day, the political war of words is only getting worse. Senior Congress leader P. Chidambaram slammed the centre. He tweeted, and I quote, IAF Vice Air Marshal declined to comment on casualties. MEA's statement said there were no civilian or military casualties. So, who put out the number of casualties as 300, 350? End of quote. Meanwhile, BJP President Amit Shah gave out casualty figures at a rally in Gujarat on Sunday. Despite the fact that there is no official government figure on the number of casualties yet.
પુલવામાની અંદર ઘટના થતાની સાથે બધાને એવું હતું કે આ વખતે તો સર્જિકલ સ્ટ્રાઇક ના થઈ શકે, હવે શું થશે કે એલર્ટનેસ બહુ હતી. પરંતુ મિત્રો, નરેન્દ્ર મોદી સરકારે બરોબર 13માના દિવસે એર સ્ટ્રાઇક કરી 250 થી વધારે આતંકવાદીઓનો શોધ, એક પણ કેઝ્યુઅલિટી વગર.
Congress leader Kapil Sibal challenged Shah's claim and drew attention to international media reports which claimed there were no casualties.
In fact, the Prime Minister should in fact answer one question. How is it that the international media, which includes the Washington Post, the New York Times, the Guardian, the Daily Telegraph, the Jane's Information Journal, Reuters, while all these international agencies are saying that there is no proof of militants being killed at Balakot? Is it that the international media is pro-Pakistan?
In fact, in election season, our attention-hungry Netas are doing everything possible to cash in on the jingoism. Whether it was Delhi BJP chief Manoj Tiwari, who showed up wearing a military jacket at a bike rally in the city.
इन लोगों को लगता है कि सेना का सम्मान करना राजनीति है और हम समझते हैं सेना का सम्मान करना देशभक्ति है, तो हम अपने देशभक्ति के रास्ते पे हैं. ये मूलतः ऐसी बात वही कर सकता है जिसको देश से प्यार नहीं है, जिनको सिर्फ अपनी राजनीति दिखती है.
Or Congress leader Salman Khurshid, who tried to take credit for Wing Commander Abhinandan's valor. He tweeted that the Wing Commander started flying in 2004 and claimed he had matured as a fighter pilot in the UPA era. Prime Minister Modi hit out at the naysayers and tweeted saying that he did not understand why some people still question the forces. But at a time when the entire country is backing the forces, shouldn't our Netas stand united? Should our soldiers' valor be reduced to fodder for political mileage? Bureau Report, Mirror Now.
Well, viewers, those are the kind of comments that have been coming in ever since these airstrikes happened. Within 48 hours, they started happening. And this has come from across political parties, from across the top leadership of the political parties. Our phone lines are also open. Do call us. Tell us what you think. Do you buy into this kind of political, making our armed forces into this kind of a political football? Let me bring on board my panel at this point. We've got Asif Bhamla, political analyst, Colonel Amitabh Amit, who's a defense expert, Vivek Reddy, spokesperson of the BJP, will also be joining us, K. Narayana, National Secretary, CPI, and we've got Badshah Sen, who's a senior journalist. Thank you all of you very much for joining us. I want to first start off this debate with Colonel Amit at this point in time. Colonel, your view, when you see this kind of politics being played out, when you see everyone across the board from political parties talking about this as if it was some, it's some kind of political football here literally that's being played, what is your opinion?
The army in India has always been very apolitical, right from the independence, and it continues to remain so, and shall always remain so. And we hope that the politics over army is not the best thing in the interest of the armed forces, because in case the armed forces do get involved in such a thing, then it will not be very good for the nation. Coming on to this particular case, where the dispute is over the casualties and the damage that has been caused to the in our raid, what I wish to say is that the army basically, or armed forces, they basically, we operate under the directives of the government of the day, and whatever the government of the day orders, the armed forces execute it. Now this has been done through right since the independence, whether it is 1971 war, or it is the Kargil war, or it is the present crisis. The leadership in this case has been very clear, very forthcoming, and gave very clear orders that the armed forces were given an opportunity and full independence to decide the course of action. And when we did strike the targets, what is most important is that India showed that we are prepared to strike targets not only within Pakistan occupied Kashmir, but beyond that. So that is where the political resolve comes in. Now coming on to the number of casualties, whether there was damage to the structures or not, I personally feel that these are not very relevant, because the political will is important, the structures will come again, the terrorists killed will be replenished by more terrorists. So this does not carry much of meaning. What is important is that we have shown our resolve. We have struck across the LC and in the Pakistani territory and shown that we can retaliate. What is important is that government should also remain very clear. Politics of this on this has started because of the ambiguity. While there is no ambiguity in what the Foreign Secretary said or what the Air Chief said today, but there have been leaks and from sources which claim to be from the government, and there the problem starts. Someone says so many casualties, someone so many casualties. When the question was asked, then you say they are not, you are demoralizing the army. Let me tell you, army is too strong to get demoralized by any such things. If anyone thinks that these kind of tutu-meme that or slugfest which goes on between the political parties is going to demoralize the army, I can tell you this is not the way army. We function under immense pressure, under conditions where even survival is very difficult, and we don't complain. So please don't think we are going to get demoralized. Next time when opportunity comes, the reply will be with equal ferocity. The reply will be with equal success, and we'll show to the country again that whenever the army has been asked, we have given the right answers.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Asif Bhamla, I want to come to you. I mean, one part, of course, is the army and our forces really, and the impact this kind of a political slugfest has on them. The other part, of course, is the impact of this kind of a political slugfest on the citizens itself. Because in India, we're extremely proud of our armed forces. We have a lot of faith in them. And when this kind of political slugfesting happens, you're putting that entire thing at risk.
You see, firstly, let me open with saying that no one has ever asked or questioned the army of the country to prove its rationale. Every Indian is proud of the strikes, and every Indian, I would say, I would credit the government in place, I would credit the opposition, I would credit firstly the armed forces. It's because of them. Today there's a lot of jingoism that's being done. Someone's talking something, the other parties is talking something. But I am saying something very clearly, that the army is stated very clear that we were given a target and we achieved it. Counting bodies is none of our problem and it's none of our issue. And I think we should stick by it. But the main problem is I am not able to understand where did the chief of the Air Force mentioned that those figures are not the figures. So where did these figures prompt up from? Who cropped up these figures? And today people are, I'm happy people are lighting candles at the martyrs. But has anybody thought of the Indian Armed Forces till today? The problems that the Indian Armed Forces have been suffering day in and day out, and they're faced with issues like the pension problem, the disabilities, the health insurance for families after they retire, the martyr status to receive compensation, etc. So today people are talking, but what is the condition of our paramilitary forces who save us, who safeguard for us, who fight for us in the various and the worstest climatic conditions? And today these political parties are going into this jingoism of taking credits. I think we should be ashamed. It is a moment of grief, shame that on one place the country was proud and honored that we won over Pakistan. We have shown a very fantastic global image of unanimity. Because again, as I've always mentioned, that terrorism in Pakistan has been a problem for as much as it is for the NDA, for as much as it is for the UPA as well. So it is the single, and our biggest enemy is Pakistan, and we have to accept that. And we have to also accept that it is these armed forces who have ensured that Pakistan comes off like with the begging bowl. But I am very amazed at the utilization and the brownie points everyone is trying to see.
Yes, exactly.
In the forthcoming elections, they're trying to utilize this for to create a narrative. Why?
Absolutely, Asif Bhamla. You're saying that anything to create that kind of political mileage.
This is the work of my armed forces. This is no. Let me complete. This is the work. This is the honor and the valor of my armed forces, for whom I am proud of. So please do not try to gain your brownie points, or do not try to gain headlines with this, that, okay, you've achieved this. Okay, you have shown the political will. We are with you. We apprehend you. We appreciate you. But let me tell you this, the country is not going to take
point taken, Asif Bhamla. Let me go across to my other panelists as well. Let's go across to Bacha Sen at this point. Bacha Sen, as a senior journalist, when you see this happening, when you see these kind of comments, and we're not talking about one or two comments here and there, we're talking about comments across political parties from the top brass, the top leadership of this country. How do you respond to that?
Well, the basic point is I am not surprised that people are seeking to politicize it. What would you expect politicians to do except politicize? They politicize everything from India winning a cricket series to something as serious as what has just happened. I don't expect politicians, whether in government or in the opposition, to be anything other than political and gain political mileage out of it. It's a different matter that I would decry such things, but I'm not surprised by it. I was not surprised when Yadurappa made that statement about 22 out of 28 seats in Karnataka. That was disgraceful. He was counting votes on the bodies of dead soldiers and airmen of our country. And I was not surprised when the other side responded, whether it was Mr. Salman Khurshid. I was shocked. I mean, he says this pilot, Abhinandan, who was trained in 2004. So what? I mean, he is a pilot. How does it matter who trained him? Certainly, Mr. Khurshid didn't train him. Nor did Mr. Yedurappa go and shoot down the F-16. It was the Indian Armed Forces which did it. But please don't be surprised. This is brownie points being scored. It is votes being counted. It is something that is going to go on right until the general elections are over. This I have seen even in such a big event like the Bangladesh war, which was a righteous war which we fought, where we managed to help a country free itself. But even there, in that particular case, the Congress politicized it and won a famous victory. We must not forget that that happened then. This is happening now. This is part of political history in this country. It's unfortunate, but it will keep happening. The thing is, which worries me, is twofold. We have shifted the narrative from peace, from the prices farmers are receiving, from farmers committing suicide, from joblessness to war. We are now moving on to war, and that worries me a lot, because if the answer to all our civil unrest is war, then I'm afraid we've had it as a country and as a subcontinent.
Absolutely. In fact, that's exactly what I'm going to take across to Vivek Reddy at this point. Vivek Reddy, don't you cringe when you hear these kind of comments being made, when you hear Yedurappa saying that Karnataka, after these airstrikes, Karnataka will win, in Karnataka we'll win 22 seats, when you see Manoj Tiwari coming out in army fatigues at a bike rally? Isn't all of this cringe-worthy? How is it that this is happening?
I think what Mr. Yedurappa said is absolutely unacceptable. And we are very clear about it. I don't think we can substantiate this statement. We cannot ever look at any of the election prospects on the basis of this action taken by the government. This is one, Faye. I am very clear on that. The second issue is, Faye, there are two parts in this entire episode. One is the action taken by the army and the great capacities the army has shown in this action. I think that is undisputed. The very fact that we could go about 60 kilometers into the enemy country and carry out complex operations for the first time in the history of India, I think that is a great thing. That credit goes to the army. Mr. Modi has made it very clear that he has given a free hand to the army, and it is the army's commendation only, nobody else's, because they did it by their dint and hard work, and they showed that they are the best, one of the best armies, finest armies in the world. This is one. The second issue, Faye, is that every action will have some amount of political reaction in our country because of the deeply polarized state. I'm not substantiating it or I'm not justifying it. But the larger issue is this. If there has to be, see, political debates are also good for the country. Sometimes it informs, in an informative democracy, you need to debate and discuss issues. I really commend the discussion on one aspect, and that is, if the previous governments in the wake of such war through terror by Pakistan had not taken any action, and the present government has been very resolute in taking action, that is due to the political situation, and it was a political call, and the government has taken action. I think the people are entitled to compare the two regimes. They are entitled to inform themselves as to what this government did and as to what the previous government did. That is fully a part of an informative democracy, a debate that should take place in democracy. Now the problem is this, Faye. The opposition is rattled because they have no answer for all the misdeeds that they did during their regime. They are rattled. Since they are politically cornered, the way they are getting out of this is by raising questions on the attack. They are, in fact, getting into deep politicization of this attack by saying, look here, did this happen? Look here, what were the number of deaths? Well, we don't need to do that. We are a united nation. We are a united nation, sir. We have already agreed that, we have exhibited great capacity by storming into the enemy country.
Vivek Reddy, you're moving away from the topic. You're moving away from the topic that we are discussing at this point in time. I'm sorry, you're moving away from the topic, Vivek Reddy. We know how good our armed forces are. We have full pride. We have full faith in our armed forces. That's not really what we are talking about. We are talking about why is it that so many of the politicians,
why are they raising doubts?
My question is why...
Now, raising of doubts, Faye, is a part of this politicization.
Mr. Reddy, if I can just correct you, this is Avni here.
Raising these doubts is a part of this politicization. Yes, yes, madam. I'm so sorry. Raising these doubts is a part of politicization. Why have they been, since the past 3 or 4 days, Mamata Banerjee says, give us evidence of strikes. Then the Congress spokesperson says, look here, there are no strikes. Then they question the number of deaths. Why are the opposition now raising these questions? The sound, the voice that they are creating is equivalent to the voice of Pakistan. Whatever Pakistan is saying, our opposition is saying the same thing. In your love to, all
right, Asif Bamla, do you want to respond to that? Do you want to respond to that, Asif Bamla?
Mr. Modi, you cannot take sides with Pakistan.
Yes.
Please do.
You see, the problem is that the problem is that there is irrelevant chest thumping. You see, when a situation has happened, and if there are X number of the army and the armed forces have very categorically said that this is none of our business. So why are the people talking? Have we forgotten our enemy? Our single unilateral enemy, be it for all parties, is Pakistan and not amongst ourselves. But again, let me tell you, when figures like this, when jingoistic figures and when channels
then why are you
come up like
questioning?
this, and when international media
Why are you
writes about
these strikes?
about the wrong figures, the inflation. Now listen to me. Now please let me complete. I was hearing you. When international media, when they ask questions, and when it's the job of the opposition to ask the questions, they're not going to go and ask questions to the armed forces. They have to ask the questions to the party in place, to the government in power. And what is wrong if the government is replying to them? At least you can't put up a wrong analysis, because internationally it will cost us a lot. We have gained a lot of credibility after the Balcon attacks. But we can't afford to spoil that at the cost of wrong figures, because we are answerable. We are elected government. और जमहूरियत में ऐसा ना हो कि कोई बोले कि जवानों की लाश पर हम अपनी सियासत कर रहे हैं. We should be ashamed. I have spoken before this also.
All right. Vivek Reddy, Asif Bamla, just hold on for a minute, please. I need to get in Mr. K. Narayana, National Secretary of the CPI. Mr. Narayana, your comments, please. You haven't had a chance to speak as yet. Can we have your opening comments?
Repeat again.
Your comments, sir. Your opening comments.
Please repeat again.
Mr. Narayana, am I audible? Am I audible? Can you hear me?
This is the Pulwama. Please. The question.
Mr. Narayana, am I audible to you?
Can you repeat the question? Yes.
Mr. Narayana, my question is, what is your opinion, your comments on this entire issue of politicizing of the airstrikes?
Yes. The political system is leading the country. So anything should be discussed with the politics and also the country development. This is Pulwama. First of all, I wanted to pay homage to 49 soldiers who died. And also I want to congratulate our Abhinandan Vartaman is a hero of this. And at the same time, terrorism is the enemy to the country, enemy to the human being. When you are fighting this, the war is among the Pak and India also is almost all it happens. Then war cannot be won anywhere. But I want to say one thing. After this incident, Prime Minister, he is in the shooting and he never bothered about to go and consult with the things. And the second, and they are touring all political activities, political meetings, Amit Shah and Modi, with their 49 soldiers' photos. And Yediyurappa, he commented that how he is going to utilize this war field for the election field. So this type of approach from the government, it is endorsed. See, first of all political parties, all slogans should be one, to defend our country, to defeat the terrorism, and the Pakistan regime also. When we are forgetting that, we are trying to get it politicization to get the benefit. It is the sadism, the saddest activity of the ruling party, BJP, the saddest activity of Modi and part of the Prime Minister, and this it shows the narrow outlook, and we condemned it. We should see that terrorism should be isolated by pursuing the politically. When stakeholders of this Jammu and Kashmir, we should warn them and to isolate the terrorism, and mobilizing the political forces throughout the world to isolate Pakistan. Now, including America, they condemned it. Why they released out Abhiman? The Abhiman is released because of the world pressure, not the Prime Minister and Amit Shah. Our world political forces are unite and condemned this activity, so that it forced the Imran Khan to release Abhiman. These type of activity should be there from the Indian government to mobilize political forces throughout the world, to mobilize Pakistan, Jammu and Kashmir people, to warn them to isolate the terrorism, so that we can win. Otherwise, it is not going to achieve any narrow outlook by dividing the country, to ruin the country, to spy the country. It should not be accepted. That our opinion is the government should act wisely. Why they are not inviting all political parties meeting? Being a Prime Minister, you should invite all political parties to know such nations facing the same dangerous situation. All political parties should unite, and he should lead the team, then condemn that. He didn't do it. Even today, he is touring all over India by praising this one angle, and to get support from the people for the BJP winning. It is a highly condemnable activity from the...
Right. Vacha Sen, so does this really mean that our politicians will not stop at anything, will not shy away from politicizing anything as long as it gives them that political mileage?
Yes, well, I'm afraid that is unfortunate.
They tried for the political mileage.
They won't. The only thing I find is a bit strange is... sorry. The only thing I find very strange in all this is I doubt that the opposition per se, I doubt that the opposition per se can get any political mileage out of what has happened. The only people who can actually get mileage, and Yediyurappa should have just kept his mouth shut, is the BJP and the ruling NDA. I mean, there is no way in which the opposition can get any mileage except by denouncing somebody. And they run the risk of denouncing the armed forces. No one in the opposition is so stupid to denounce the armed forces, nor do they actually have that feeling in their minds. I think the one thing that the entire political class is united on is the integrity of the Indian armed forces. But the point remains is there's been a continuation of what's been happening. I mean, when the Rafale was bought, since then until now, that fight is continuing. First, Mr. Rahul Gandhi said the deal was postponed to serve some crony of Prime Minister Modi. Then it comes back, and now Mr. Modi is saying, had I been allowed to buy the Rafale, the war would have been, I mean, now the battle would have been over much faster, everybody would have, so the point would have been wiped out. The point remains is these guys are contrarians. First Mr. Modi and Mr. Gandhi. But the point remains is Mr. Gandhi doesn't stand to gain anything. I would advise the opposition to move out of this and go on to the other real issues. The BJP is going to politicize this. The BJP is going to seek to win votes on this because their performance elsewhere has been somewhat underwhelming. Let's put it that way.
Is that right?
The point is also that the Rafale continues to be a bone of contention. Why is it so? What's wrong with the Mirage 2000, which went deep inside Pakistan territory for the first time since 71 and bombed the hell out of that place? What was wrong with this MiG-21, which people call the Widowmaker or whatever nonsense. This is not an old aircraft. This is a relatively new refurbished aircraft. And the fact remains it's a second generation aircraft which shot down a fourth generation American aircraft. There's nothing wrong with the equipment. Our men are the ones behind that equipment and they're damn good. That I have to say.
Right. Vivek Reddy, if you know, you can respond to what Bacha Sen had to say, but my question to you is also this. You said earlier that whatever Mr. Yediyurappa said is absolutely not, it's extremely condemnable. He shouldn't have said something like that. Has he been told? What action has been taken? Has this message gone down through the party that this kind of comments, this kind of politicization is just not done?
Absolutely, he has been told. I think there is no two doubts about that. He has been told not to make such comments, and they are wholly inappropriate, and that is not what the party line is. The party is not looking out for such things at all. The present thing, the whole issue presently is that this nation must retort effectively to Pakistan, and must retort in such a manner that Pakistan thinks a million times before it wages a war through terror. So that's the only priority of the government when it took this decision. So therefore it is very clear. So far as Rafale is concerned, I think Mr. Basha himself must know that the very fact today that a second generation MiG is being let out on the battlefield, though it is capable. I'm not doubting its capacity. I'm not doubting the capacity of the armed forces to fight it. But the point is, the armed forces need to be equipped with the most modern. Why didn't the armed forces not have a fourth generation aircraft? Isn't it always good for the armed forces to have better equipment, better machinery, because they defend this nation? And they defend their lives also. They should not be giving their lives. They should not be putting their lives on track when they fight for this country. So therefore, the bigger question is, why was not there a fourth generation aircraft for the Indians? Was it impossible for the Indians to procure it? No, it was possible. But unfortunately, if you recall Mr. Antony, during the latter parts of UPA 2, he said that as a defense minister, that we don't have any money to purchase Rafale. We don't have any money. So therefore,
you know, Mr. Vivek Reddy, it's extremely ironic that your comments just now, the comments that you have just made, reiterates the need that we have to have this debate. You are politicizing this entire issue yourself right now with the comments that you have made. With your comments just now, you are politicizing it exactly what needs to be reiterated here.
In a healthy democracy, we have to ask these questions. Why was the...
You are digressing from the core issue.
He is questioning the previous government politicization. What is it? Our armed forces were not given 1.5 lakh bulletproof jackets by the previous government.
Questioning the present politicization.
We asked for the armed forces because they have to be protected. You allowed them to bear their chest
questioning
against
the present government, is that politicization or is that
what sort of a government you are? UPA 1 and 2.
No, so
I'm sorry, Vivek Reddy. This is what you are saying that Mr. Yediyurappa has been condemned for. You're doing exactly the same thing right now. I'm going to go across to Colonel Amit. Colonel Amit, what's your view? What's your view? This is what the kind of debate, this debate is about why it's important to not politicize this kind of an important issue when there are people who are dying for us, who are risking their lives for us, protecting us. And here, there is so much of politics being played. And we're exactly what Vivek Reddy has done right now is reiterated why this debate needs to be had. What is your opinion?
First, I'd like to come to the point which Mr. Bacha Sen had said. And I'd like to place the record, set the records right. He said that we should be happy with Mirages and MiG-21. It's a very regressive thinking. We have to, the Air Force is down to 30 squadrons, and this is a very alarming situation as far as our Air Force is concerned, and we have to get new aircrafts, and naturally when we get the new aircrafts we have to get the best. So to feel that since we have achieved success with Mirages and MiG-21 Bison, we don't need a modern aircraft, that is a very wrong thinking. And if this is how we are thinking, then I feel alarmed that such a thought can be there with anyone. Sorry if I have said anything that has hurt you, but that's what exactly you said, that India should be happy with what they have. There absolutely no way we can go on. And not only with the aircrafts, whole gamut of equipment. We have to get the new equipment, we have to get the guns, we have to get the equipment for the infantry, for our armored formations. So we are terribly short of modernization, and that is one thing we have to go into straight away, and that is besides that is not in the purview of this discussion. As far as politicizing the discussion is concerned, I am an army man, and I would not like to comment on this, but what I saw just now was not very pleasing to my ears.
Exactly,
and
yes.
we can do without it.
Yes.
This is our soldiers need to be respected better, need not to be involved in politics. I know a very tough election for all the sides is there, and it's a no hold bar contest. But please leave army out of it. Please leave the armed forces out of it. You have enough ammunition with you to fire on each other. So it will be nice from the army side or from the defense side, if I may request both the sides, the ruling dispensation and the opposition, to leave the army aside. Thank you.
Right. Asif Bamla, you also wanted to come in.
There is one line I read which is very wonderful, that बहादुर सिपाहियों की लाशों पर अपनी, can I think I'm told to speak, right?
Yes, Mr. Bamla, go ahead.
I read a very wonderful line today, and that is बहादुर सिपाहियों की लाशों पर अपनी सियासी इमारत तामीर करना. You know, what I'm trying to say is our enemy is Pakistan. We have showed to the world that Pakistan is the largest exporter of terrorism. And it doesn't end here. We have to go further by ensuring that the terrorists like jaish-e-mohammad and Azhar Mahmood have to be also to be put to book. So this act of questioning in a democracy should not be considered as being anti-national or being pro-Pakistani. We all know we are all against Pakistan. That's our enemy numero uno. But at the same time, when there are questions that are going to be asked, the political parties, you don't expect them to ask questions to the army, the military. We are anyways proud of them. Abhinandan has brought laurels to the country, and today India has proved a very fine and a strong narrative against Pakistan. It is a very good description of our country. So which we need not to by having these figures like 250 Jawans being 250 terrorists being killed and stuff. We cannot afford to undo what has already been done by our armed forces. Because it is the victory of the armed forces as much. It is the effort. It's because of them that today we and you are here on this channel to debate. They are fighting under the worstest climatic conditions, in spite of the fact that they have been deprived of so many priorities. Today, everyone is going to put a candle to all our armed forces. But how much have we thought of them? I was seeing a very interesting report by in your previous program. And it was really, it was really heartfelt that our armed forces are doing so much for our country, and in return, we only have politicians who want, like Yediyurappa or maybe a Salman Khurshid, who wants to just gain their brownie points and to have their narrative set across. That
absolutely, Mr. Bamla, absolutely. In fact, let's also get into what some of our viewers have to say. Mr. Bamla, if we can just get in.
I hope better sense prevails.
Yes. We've got Ashok Sharma from New Delhi on the phone line. Hi, Ashok. Thank you for calling in. Go ahead. What would you like to say?
Thank you, Miss Raza. अगर आप मुझे परमिशन दें तो मैं थोड़ा हिंदी में बोल दूं ताकि सारे देशवासी आपके चैनल को सुन सकेंगे।
बिल्कुल, बोलिए।
आपके पैनल पे मैंने सभी दोस्तों को सुना है, बहुत अच्छा बोल रहे हैं, और सबसे पहले मैं मिस्टर विवेक रेड्डी को धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूं कि उन्होंने कंसीड किया है कि येदियुरप्पा और जो दिल्ली में उनके मनोज तिवारी उन्होंने गलत बोला है। थैंक यू वेरी मच मिस्टर रेड्डी। दूसरी बात मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं कि मैं बहुत तारीफ करता हूं हिंदुस्तान के इन जाबाज एयरफोर्स के ऑफिसर्स को जिन्होंने अपना काम ठीक तरीके से अंजाम किया। उसके बाद में मैं दोष देता हूं सारे पॉलिटिशियंस को, चाहे वो कांग्रेस के हों या बीजेपी के हों। मैं ये पूछना चाहता हूं कि 4 घंटे के बाद प्रधानमंत्री को क्या जरूरत थी जाके चुरू में भाषण देना और फिर वोट मांगना कि आज आप सब लोग बड़े खुश होंगे। उधर से वहां पे आप एक्टिंग कर रहे हैं, आपने बम गिराए हैं, उसके बाद में फिर आपको क्या जरूरत है ये कहने की कि हमने 300 आदमी उनके मार दिए। आपका शाह साहब बोलते हैं हमने 250 मार दिए, आपके एयरफोर्स के जो चीफ है वो बोलते हैं हमारे पास फिगर है नहीं। तो आप हिंदुस्तान की जनता को बेवकूफ नहीं बनाइए। आप इस लड़ाई को, जो मैं लड़ाई नहीं कहता हूं, ये आपने एक बम फेंके हैं जहां पे आपको ये तवक्को थी, आपको उम्मीद थी कि वहां पे ये टेररिस्ट लोग छुपे हुए हैं, आपने वहां मारा है, ठीक हो गया। क्या जरूरत थी आपको बोलने की कि हमने 300 मार दिए?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल अशोक शर्मा, आप बोल रहे हैं कि बहुत सारी कॉन्ट्रडिक्शंस है, देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन इन द काइंड ऑफ numbers, the kind of narratives that are being sent our way. Thank you so much for calling us with your perspective. Mr. Narayana, you wanted to make a point. Please go ahead.
Look, this is not the question of the weapons and discussing about the powerful weapons. Nowadays in world, it is available of nuclear weapons, 100 times the world can be spoiled. Such a strength we got in throughout the world. So it is not going to win the weapons with one country to another country. If they start war, everything will be spoiled. In Pakistan and India, everything will be spoiled. So we should not think about how powerful it is. Yesterday, Prime Minister is telling that the Rafale jets would have come, we can fight more effectively. He is trying to escape from the Rafale scam by using this war. It's ridiculous. And now the political system, not that the political party allergy to the political system. Which political party is utilizing the narrow system? What is Yadurappa? The BJP is taking actions against him while he is speaking like that. Now, when a political party condemning that the Prime Minister should have gone and invite the Abhinandan and go to the border area to create a confidence among the army. He is not doing all these things, and he is not taking a confidence in the political system. That means all political parties are not the same. Some political parties misusing this pathology and defense of the country. It is condemnable. We should see that, but not that all political parties like that. Weapons are more powerful. No weapons will be going to achieve. Only political system is going to save our country to condemn this. And I demand the BJP to expel the Yadurappa by talking that. Otherwise, BJP will be bona fide and doubtful character.
All right, Bacha Sen, we're running out of time, but very quickly, your closing comments here.
Yeah, the good colonel misunderstood me. In fact, it's my fault. My language was wrong. I'm not against the modernization of the armed forces. What I was trying to say is the Rafale, which is a good aircraft, just as the Bofors, which was a very good gun, became the victim, let us say, of politics. And that same politics continues after the Indian Air Force bombed Pakistan. In other words, even the choice of weapons is subject to political controversy. There doesn't seem to be any way out of it. I do believe, I know that the MiG-21 is an old plane. The Mirage is not as old. But the point is, of course, I do believe that the Rafale should be there. What I want to know is, first, of course, we know why Mr. Antony didn't get it. But what I wanted to know is, why didn't Mr. Modi get it? 3 years he's had. He cut it down from 126 aircraft to 236. Now, if it's such a good aircraft and we have the money, why not buy 126 for God's sake? And why don't we do it quickly? This is where politics comes in. Politics in the time of war, politics in the time of peace. That is what I wanted to say.
All right. I'm afraid we're completely out of time. I'd like to thank all our panelists for joining us on this extremely important debate. Well, voters, we've seen politics being played over caste. We've seen politics being played over religion and temples. We've even seen politics played over statues and cows. But it's most upsetting to see politics being played over those who are risking their lives to protect us. The armed forces is one of this country's biggest strengths. As Indians, we have a huge sense of faith and pride in our armed forces. Playing this kind of politics and shaking that faith is just not done. And for what? For your electoral gains? Is that really all that you care about? I can only urge our politicians, do your thing, play your politics, but please leave our forces out of it. Thanks for watching.